Okay, so right now, I'm really loving my entire New York journey. Well, because telling the Nigerian story, especially the success story of Nigerians in diaspora, is really amazing and inspiring. And so, being a feminist as I am, yeah, I have an amazing woman, a wife, a mother, a sister, an inspiration, a mentor to so many, and the founder and the brain behind Sam and Sarah, Queen of Sheba, so many more brands. And I am so inspired, so honored to have no other person than Mrs. Folake Oyemade.
Thank you.
And looking more beautiful and radiant than last time I saw you. What's the secret?
Well, let's just say I thank God. I like to take life easy, and let me just say I relax my brain. I relax myself.
I'm not taking that. Most times when I meet with women like you and I ask, what's the secret of beauty? Instead of you to just tell me, and you not tell me you thank God. Me too, I'm thanking God now. So what's happening?
You need to relax.
Okay.
Yeah, I do relax.
Fantastic. So maybe I'll get a little more rest.
Exactly.
A lot more relaxation.
When I say relax, I really don't mean physical. You know, you need to be calm at all times. You need to keep your mind at rest.
Now, the name Folake Oyemade is one to reckon with, and it's wonderful to find that a woman has built such an impression, in the minds of people all over the world. Tell us about the story so far.
Well, I believe a lot of people would expect, it's not very easy to make a success of anything in life, including even your marriage. I mean, one would think if you marry someone you love, everything should just go, It's not easy. You just have to be resolute in whatever you believe you want to do and follow through. So that's basically what it's like for me. I'm a very passionate person. I'm passionate about everything I want to do. And I don't like mediocrity. I'm not a mediocre. Anything I want to do, I put my all in it and make sure I achieve what I set out to achieve.
So now I'm looking at you and I'm trying to picture you 40-something years ago. I'm trying to go a little bit down into your childhood.
I've always been a go-getter. As a child, it just never for once occurred to me that I might not succeed in life. It's just never been on the table.
Never was an option.
Never was an option. It never occurred to me. It's like, as a child, whenever I saw anything I liked, it was like, yeah, when I grow up, I'll get it. When I grow up, I'll do this. When I grow up, I'll do that. So I always saw myself as a success, even as a child. Because even right from my childhood, I knew what I wanted. And I've always, gone for anything that I want.
Little wonder where you are today.
Well, I would say glory be to God, because it is not everyone that has set out well that has ended up well.
True.
And we as Christians know that the battle is not for the swift, not for the strong. So that I've been able to go this far is God. Of course, there is some element of hard work, and there is some element of, if I may say, perseverance, and maybe luck also has some part to play. But for those who know me and those who understand the way I do my own things, the way I reason, the way I plan my life, it will not be a very big wonder to them, because they know that I'm a perfectionist to the core.
that philosophy about life that drives you? What's your watchword?
My watchword is whatever is worth doing is worth doing. There's one phrase that, you know, is always on my mind, is always in everything that I do. When people do things I didn't do them well, I just begin to wonder, why start at all? Why do it at all? So what is worth doing is worth doing well.
Now let's look at some of your brands. Tell us about Sam and Sarah. Tell us about Queen of Sheba.
Well, the reality of it all is that I started business with fashion. I've always been very passionate about fashion. I've always loved fashion. As a person, I'm a very fashionable person.
You can say that again.
I may not necessarily get into what I would term extreme fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you know what I mean by extreme fashion.
I noticed that your style and your style in general is simple.
Exactly.
Very classy.
Exactly.
And I noticed, I've seen your pictures and followed you. I found out that you love really classic pieces.
That's just me, you know. So I love fashion, but I don't get into extreme fashion. I like to be moderate in, everything that I do. And I would say that that is what has been my driving force. That is it is that passion that has led me into fashion. I started business at the age of 22, and this was after graduation from the University of Lagos. And my mother gave me my first capital, and that was, in those days, that was £7,000.
Oh.
That was quite some money. Yeah, that was quite some money. And I started trading. I used to go to Europe, America, Asia, buy stuff and put in my clothing boutique. The African fashion, or shall I say, the Afrocentric fashion, is something that is being accepted worldwide now. But unfortunately, a lot of people are still not doing what they ought to do. A lot of people that, even claim to, carry those brands or make those kind of clothing, the quality is still not what it's supposed to be. And I just told myself that, this is something I can set a pace again in. And that is where the whole idea of Queen of Sheba came around. Now, you as an African lady, you know that we Africans, blacks generally, we're very glamorous people. We love fashion, we love glamour, we love...
from our traditional...
Exactly.
Attire, it just reflects glamour.
Exactly. And unfortunately, there is still a misconception in a lot of quarters, especially here in America, where people still think when you say African fashion or you are speaking Afrocentric, it's something ethnic, it's something not too perfect. And we have come in here now to do what we're doing, to showcase what the best of African fashion can be, to showcase the glamour that our fashion holds, and also to allow, especially our brothers and sisters here, to really know who they are, much with their heritage, that Africa is the cradle of civilization. Africa is a cradle of fashion, because some of the most glamorous women that we have heard about in history and we continue to hear about, we're Africans. Mention the Nefertiti, mention Cleopatra, mention Queen of Sheba herself, and the list goes on. They were Africans. So what we have here is to showcase what we have to offer and what the true African fashion is all about.
And what you're doing now is not just about making money.
No.
You're also about flying the Nigerian flag and the African flag
High.
really high, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. What would you say the Nigerian fashion industry right now, what would you say we need to do to put us in that space? I know we've done a lot, and I know we really have come a long way, but what else can we do to really put us in that space like you think we should?
To be candid, the Nigerian fashion industry has come of age. The only bit of challenge that that industry, has, is that they're not able to do what I may call mass production in order to bring their prices down. You know that, there is no quality of garment you want made locally in Nigeria that you won't get people to make. There are people there who will make them for you, but the cost is what might not be too affordable for a lot of people. The reason why countries such as China, Bangladesh, India, many countries that do garments around the world are able to export and all that is because they're able to do mass production. So that brings down the cost of production. And the cost of each garment is much lower, than it should be. But in Nigeria, especially in the fashion industry, there isn't really, anyone doing mass production yet. Everyone is still doing like made to measure.
Yes.
Majority of them are still in made to measure. And the thing with made to measure is that made to measure all over the world is expensive. So that's basically, the reason why, a lot of people might not be able to get into really exporting the Nigerian high quality fashion.
So here at Queen of Sheba, do you get, because I know you're all about Africa and Nigeria, do you get a lot of Americans, especially the white ones, coming in to say, oh, I love this, I want to buy this,
It might interest you to know that our very first customer in the store is white American.
Ah, are you serious?
Very first customer is white American. To be honest, so far we haven't had any Nigerian or African customer.
Wow.
Every customer we've had have either been Americans or Europeans.
Are you serious?
We haven't had our own people. So, the whole idea is to make the fashion mainstream. And I know that we're going to be there.
We will get there.
Yes, I know that we're going to get there because more and more people are, really getting into our type of fashion, especially the prints. People love them. People love them. Yesterday we had some tourists from Europe. They came from France, and you need to see what kind of things they were buying. They even wanted the skirt and blouse, Ankara. Yeah,
That's nice.
So, so really, our store is not really for Nigerians.
Okay.
It is for the people in this environment, be it black, be it white. And we're really glad we're making the impact.
That's good.
Yeah.
And we are glad you're making that impact too.
Yeah.
So I'd now like to find out, how do you manage it? How do you juggle business, family, everything? How do you do it?
Well, I believe everything in life is about planning. If you know your onions, then you are able to plan your life better, and you're able to juggle as many roles as possible. Maybe you've forgotten that we women are superhuman beings. We know how to multitask a lot.
Yes.
We can do 100 things at the same time and we'll do well.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just the strength in me as a woman.
Wow. So now tell me, where do you get your inspiration? Looking at your pieces, what inspires you, your designs?
Well, the fact that the average woman's wardrobe should have some basic kind of clothing. That is what you wear to work, what you wear for leisure, what you wear for special occasions, what you even wear for the less special occasions, such as you're going for a cocktail and or you're just going for a picnic and what have you.
Hanging out with the girls.
Or hanging out with the girls. You know, these are the things that, you know, inspire. These are the things that inspire, you know, the way, what kind of pieces we stock. And really, our fashion is for the girl, the lady, the woman that wants to stand out, that doesn't want to wear mass production, and at the same time does not have enough money to pay the very high price that most boutiques would typically place on their items.
So in other words, your pieces, your collection is affordable.
It's affordable,
Fantastic.
considering the quality.
Now, production. Tell me the whole process from selection of the fabrics to from design to selection
select,
to putting it together.
Exactly.
How does it happen? And where?
The same way you've said it. And everywhere, including Nigeria. Everywhere, including Nigeria.
So do you get to pick the fabrics and what do you look out for?
For every single thing you can see in this maiden collection, I personally picked them. Yeah. All the styles, all the fabrics, all the sizing and what have you.
Because I see a lot of details, you know, going into your work.
Yeah.
A whole lot of details.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, you know, like she said, she doesn't do anything mediocre. You know, she's a woman that stands out. She's very excellent. Now, do you sketch? Do you put...
I have fashion designers that work with me.
Okay.
So when I conceive an idea, we work on it together.
Great. Now, why Harlem? Why Harlem?
You know, Harlem has a lot of great history. And like you know, what we have come to showcase is the best of Africa. And Africa is predominantly black. And Harlem is the cradle of the modern black movement. Hardly would you find tourists, when I talk about tourists, real tourists, who come to America who would not touch Harlem. So of course, if they want to buy something Afrocentric, they would expect it to be in Harlem. So, and also with the gentrification of Harlem, Harlem is now belonging to both black and white. Harlem is getting to be, especially this particular boulevard, Malcolm X Boulevard, because this place is called Malcolm X Boulevard. It's also called Lenox Avenue. It bears the two names. It's one of the most gentrified area in Harlem. So we have people of all races, of all, you know, backgrounds, of all classes. It's a very busy area. So we know that this will be the best place for our business to do well and thrive well.
Do you know why I'm smiling?
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, she told us how calculated she is and how she just doesn't just do things. So it was actually calculated, you know, being here.
Yes.
Was planned.
It was planned.
Fantastic.
It was planned.
Now, I love the architecture. You know, I love what you're trying to tell.
Thank you.
So
this is supposed to be the wardrobe of Queen of Sheba.
Oh, okay.
So this is our own, shall I call it artist? Exactly. Interpretation, or maybe artist impression, or whatever you might want to call it. Imagination of the wardrobe of a queen.
Yeah.
She will sit on her queen chair and say, bring that, bring that, bring that. Everything well displayed and well laid out. So that's exactly what we try to do here.
I'd like to guess your favorite colors, purple and gold.
It is actually one of my favorite colors.
Okay, so what's your favorite color?
Actually, you know, it depends. But I tend to like purple a lot. So I actually can call it my favorite color. Purple and gold, yes, really.
Because it stands for royalty.
Yes.
As you are.
Mm-hmm.
So now, for recreation, for relaxation, because you told me your secret for looking this elegant and always looking this young is you tend to take a lot of rest as well. So what do you do to help you rest, to help you relax?
It might surprise you. I love watching television. I'm a television person. I love to sit in front of the telly and with my legs stretched out on a stool or, you know, on the sofa and just relax my mind.
You know, your pieces, your collection, everything, putting it together. How was it 4 days ago? What did it take to open this place and put it together?
It's been a very long journey. It's taken us almost 2 years to be able to actualize it. So it's a project that has taken too much out of us, so much out of us. As expected, it's not a joke to be on the high streets in New York. It's not a joke to be on the high streets, and especially considering what Harlem is now, you know. There's so much that really had to come into, you know, place for us to be able to do this.
Wow. I'm so impressed. You know, it's beautiful and
Thank you.
Very glamorous.
Thank you.
Now, I've enjoyed every bit of the time I spent with you. But you know, there are a lot of young ladies out there who find you to be an inspiration. What would be your word to them? They're looking up to you. They want to be like you in the nearest future.
I would just want to say they should stay focused. You see, because no matter what you want to do, you must encounter some setback one way or the other. Because to start with, for us to even be able to determine a location, took nothing less than about 6 months. Because, there were too many options.
Yes.
But we had to now go into it and look at so many things about the place. And for us to finally be able to zero in on, you know, where we are at the moment, and to finally be able to sign the lease with the landlord and what have you, that also took almost a year. Yeah. The landlords in this area, they're not like Nigeria. It's not just all about money. There are many other things, you know, they look at before they decide whether they want to give you their property or not. And let me just say, you know, aside from having all other things, we still got lucky to be considered.
Fantastic. I'm so impressed. So the word
Thank
out
you.
there is be focused, you know, and a lot of planning, a lot of hard work needs to go in, you know. It's not just a wishing
And
game.
never be discouraged.
Never be discouraged, no matter how challenging it may seem.
Yes, because the discouragements will always come. It got to a stage I said, I'm not even doing this project anymore. You see, because for me, it wasn't just about the money. It was also about, making my own mark. I've already made my mark in Nigeria, making a mark also here internationally in America, and also flying the Nigerian flag high. Because we never fail to tell people, because from our accent, they know, I must be coming from somewhere. So they always say, oh, where do you come from originally? And I always say, Nigeria. So we are really flying the flag high. So that alone gives me some measure of, you know, joy and fulfillment, yes.
And I'm proud too. I'm proud to identify with you. I'm proud to identify with Queen of Sheba and to identify with our great nation, Nigeria. All right, guys. So this is where we get to draw the curtain. It's been an